Today's episode is brought to you by MTDCNC, the go-to platform covering the latest stories in the world of manufacturing.
Welcome back to the MTDCNC podcast. Today I'm joined by Ben from Cromar, who are specialists in swarf conveyors and also much, much more. So, Ben, it's great to have you with me today.
Good to see you, Tom.
How did it all begin?
Family business, grandfather, then my dad, and then me and my brother. Cromar initially was Crowther and Marshall Limited, so if anybody wonders where Cromar comes from, it was Crowther and Marshall, Cromar. Big Allen steel telescopic covers supporting British machine tool builders in the old days. They've gone, but we developed furthermore with machine tool companies, machine tool users. We got into swarf conveyors, swarf management systems, coolant filtration equipment, ancillary products additionally that we provide, mist extraction, oil skimmers, chillers. So anything that surrounds a machine tool that you want swarf removing, you want oil mist sorting out, you need the coolant filtering. That's what we're involved with.
So you do a bit of everything, really?
Yeah.
And there's no set size to what
but
you can
not
make.
jacks of all trade, Tom.
No.
We are.
You are masters of what you do.
We are experts in what we do. We don't pretend or try and do things that we're not skilled at.
Right. So you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you are extremely good at what you do.
We are, and we're focused at what we do.
So let's talk about a conveyor then. So if an order for a conveyor comes in, where does it start?
Well, initially, if there's a few sides to our company. We have the OEM business, which is the majority, but then we have the end user business. So if we take it with the OEM, we might get a telephone call off the sales guy. We're quoting this machine. We would ask, what's the application? They tell us. We would then prepare a proposal according to the application. Hopefully they get the order. We get the order. Once the order's in, it then gets processed and goes to our engineering department, and they design, engineer what's required from there to the shop floor. If it's an end customer, it might require a site visit by one of our technicians. They'll go and have a look at the machine. It might be a 5-year-old machine. It might be a 20-year-old machine. But regardless, it needs a product. So we assess the application. We prepare a proposal. Hopefully we get an order, and then it gets processed in the same way.
And as a conveyor, it's not an off-the-shelf item. They're all bespoke.
They're all bespoke. They're all built to suit a machine or an application.
Which are all built here in the UK.
All designed, developed, and built here in the UK, yeah.
And also for me, in Yorkshire, which makes it even better.
They are, Tom. We're proud to be from where, this is our region. We've been in this region for a long, long time. We support all of our suppliers. We support all of our partners, and that includes customers. At the end of the day, we're all trying to deliver a package to a user, and we require expertise from our suppliers. Our customers require expertise from us, and we're all in it together.
And that's it. It's all about them partnerships. It's not we do it, we go on it alone. It's we do it as a partnership to make sure the customer gets exactly what they want and it's right.
And you know one really important thing, it has to be a long-term partnership. It has to be a long-term partnership. The only way to get it right is to do things long-term. And then over the years, you acquire more expertise, then you develop better products. So at the end of the day, as a partnership grows, it strengthens the products that we provide to the customers at the end of the day.
And you must be doing something right if you've had them partnerships for a very long time.
I like to think so. The company's grown significantly over the past 20 years. We've made major investments within the business, whether it's a new factory like the one we're in here today. This was a big investment in 2021 during COVID. That was a difficult challenge, moving from one location to another when you had all the challenges with COVID. Buying all our own machines, that was another big investment. The next big investment will be buy more machines. But also, we've got to think, what about the people who work here? We have to invest in them. So we have people who have worked for the business for a long time. We like saying we have a low turnover of staff. That's a good thing. we're a good company to work for. We also try and encourage having apprentices each year. Very important. I think all companies should do it. One of the challenges that a lot of employers say, well, we set on these apprentices, we pay for all the qualification, and then they leave. That is true. It applies to every company that has apprentices. But if we all do it, we're almost sharing qualified people. And you're protecting the next generation. You don't have that. Engineering is what we do. You don't want the void in engineering from skilled people. It might be a machine operator, it might be a design engineer, it might be a fabricator. It's important, it's taken seriously by employers that the apprentices are the next generation. They're not a form of cheap labour. They are the next generation.
That is a different way of looking at it compared to a lot of people look at apprenticeships where, yes, you might train someone up and they might leave, but then you might train an apprentice that comes to my business and I might train one that comes to your business.
Exactly.
So essentially, even though you are paying to train someone, you might get somebody back as well. So that is a different way of looking at it, which I think a lot of people should look into.
I think it's important. You look on social media, I can't get skilled people. Well, train them.
And the thing is, if you train them to how you want as well, you're going to get exactly what you want. Instead of you getting somebody else in who somebody's trained, let's say it might be the right way for them, but it's the wrong way for you, you've got to completely retrain them anyway. So why not get somebody in and just train them up from the start? You've got
to train every company, every area of whether it's sport, engineering, whatever it might be, there has to be a level of training. You can't just suddenly go into a company and start being able to do what that company wants them to do. But if you have the basic fundamentals in place, right, look, we need to take on some mechanical design engineer apprentices. We need to take on some electrical apprentices. We need to take some fabricator apprentices. We accept we're not going to retain all those people. We also accept that some of them might not be the right road for them to go down. But if other companies do it and they do practice what they preach, Tom, I think that's one of the things. People need to practice what they preach. We lose an apprentice and I gain one of your apprentices and you gain one of mine. And I think it's a better way to look at it.
Yeah, I think that's a way people should look at it instead of what most companies do, where they'll go, well, if we lose him, we've spent all that money on him.
Yeah.
We've wasted all that money.
That's exactly what people think.
Which, no, you haven't. He's still going to be the next generation. He's still going to work.
People want to develop the career. The fact that they might not want to develop their career at your company is not necessarily a personal thing. It's in someone's choice.
Thing is, well, they're still quite young, so they might not actually know exactly what they want to do.
They might come back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they might not know exactly what they want to do when they start their apprenticeship, and halfway through go, actually, no, I don't want to be a fitter. I want to be a welder. Or I don't want to be a welder. I want to be in applications.
And that's where it's important. You have the right infrastructure. You have a mentor in place for that apprentice. So as a whole, or to some, the skill set or the expertise of the company employees, I think in general we've got a very good team, a very strong team. It could always be better, but we know that, and that's what we're always working towards.
Well, we've been for a tour of your facility, and you've got a very skilled workforce. So why do you think having a skilled workforce is still beneficial when you could essentially automate it? Welders, you could automate it.
Yeah, we've looked at automation for our welding, but our products are so diverse, we couldn't do it. Or we certainly couldn't do it with the technology that's available now, with the products that we make now. We are looking at new technology with the new machine investment, and that would include software from office to shop floor. Can we make it easier where the skill requirement is a little bit less, perhaps? We're looking at all that, but there's always going to have to be somewhere in the operation skilled people, because we're making a precision product at the end of the day.
Well, that's it. You're not just making an off-the-shelf item.
No.
It's all bespoke. You need somebody on the end of the phone, even if that's to answer a phone call to talk about. Because I'm guessing you may as well get some customers who don't. They think they know what they need, but then when they ring you, they're not really that sure.
We've had customers, and no disrespect to them, contact us and ask for a magnetic conveyor, which is a conveyor that's designed to handle chipped ferrous material. And then we've asked the question, what are you machining? Aluminium. So it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But again, it's a little bit of guidance. People need guidance. If I went to, do something that I've never done before or I'm not skilled at, I would accept somebody needs to show me what to do.
And that's what having the skilled workforce does for you, because
yeah.
A robot might be able to weld, but it can't teach another robot how to weld. You need somebody there to teach.
Exactly. So we have about 70, 75 people here in Brickhouse. We're hoping to expand on that. The market has been challenging over the past 12 months, but it's showing signs of strong improvements. And if it's a little bit quieter, it's a good opportunity to train people.
Well, that's it. A lot of people look at being quiet as a bad thing, but actually, if you look at the positives on it, I know companies who use the quiet time to clean up, repaint the floors, repaint the walkways.
Yeah.
And like you said, upskill people. Because if you're busy all the time and you've got somebody, let's say you've got somebody on a 3-axis machine and you want them on a 5-axis, you can't train them when you're busy.
No.
Because you need that machine running.
Exactly.
So having a bit of quiet time is good to keep things rolling over.
And having the right conveyor on a 5-axis machine.
Exactly.
Is equally as important.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you've got the right conveyor on that machine, you don't have to worry about coolant maintenance, so you can keep running the machine.
Exactly. So if you buy the right equipment, like we were talking earlier, Tom, the main focus is I need to make this part. Which is the best machine for me to make that part? Right. So they pick the machine, great. I need to run it unmanned. So then they go down the process of selecting the automation. It might be a gantry, it might be a robot, whatever best suits them. The conveyor is sometimes an afterthought, but actually it needs to be considered the same way what automation's considered. It's equally as important, because if it's not running, the machine isn't running. And
if you haven't got the right conveyor for the work you're doing, it's constantly getting blocked up and you're constantly having to do maintenance on it, then your machine's not running. This nice big fancy machine you bought isn't running because your programmer, operator, machinist, whatever, is spending more time with his hands in the coolant tank.
And your operator, who's earning X amount of money, is doing a labourer's job, being paid an operator's salary.
Exactly.
So it's costing you twice as much when it comes to cleaning the tank.
So talking at conveyors, how many different series and different concepts of conveyor do you actually do?
We have a few. We have hinge conveyors. Hinge conveyors come in varying sizes. So the standard one we do is 1.5 inches, but then you can go to 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch. The one that you saw on the shop floor out there, that large conveyor, is a heavy duty 3 inch pitch. Underground scraper conveyors, 1.5 inch scraper conveyors, depending on the application. So if I summed it up quickly, you've got hinge conveyors, scraper conveyors, magnetic conveyors. Then if you start talking conveyors with filtration, you have the Combi 500, which is a hinge conveyor with a self-cleaning box filter. You go up the next level to a more performance system, Series 4, which is a dual belt conveyor, hinge and scraper with a self-cleaning drum filter. And then you have a less versatile product. It's specifically built for chip material, but a Series 2 conveyor, which is a scraper conveyor with a drum filter, self-cleaning drum filter.
And that's how many conveyors you do, but they can all be bespoke. They can all be made to measure.
We actually also do another type of conveyor, which we rarely do. It's very specific. People are familiar with the small auger pigtail conveyors. We do it where it's a stainless steel tube with a magnetic auger running inside it, the Cromar Rotomag.
Wow, that's something different.
We don't make that many, but they're a good
But
product.
there's applications
There's
need that sort
there's
of...
applications, and the reason I mentioned it demonstrates the versatility we've got as a company, where we were approached some years ago. We had this machine, it's cutting cast iron, but there's no room for a conventional conveyor. So we have to develop a conveyor to suit that application.
And that's it. Because you produce everything here in the UK, that must give you so much flexibility on being able to modify conveyors to any application. I know we spoke earlier about how many drawings you think you have on system.
Yeah. Seriously, I bet there's 25,000 plus versions of different. It might be a small change on a conveyor's discharge height, as I was saying, but yeah, it must be 25,000 plus.
That's just mad. But again, that is supply and demand. The demand's there, and you're supplying what people need.
And some markets, some territories in Europe have different requirements to a UK user, for example. They may have a standard discharge height that they want in their territory. You make the same conveyor for the same machine somewhere else, and they want a different discharge height.
Well, let's talk about that, because obviously you don't just do conveyors for the UK.
No.
You ship these to quite a few different countries.
Yeah.
Does that bring you any problems with different regulations when going to different countries? Or, like I said, different heights, different models?
Well, I mean, we conform to all CE regulations. So, as far as that's concerned, not really. But we do have challenges. We are a British manufacturer. There are other people who do what we do in other parts of the world. So, yeah, sometimes we have challenges exporting as a result of, a few years ago.
Which we'll try not to mention.
Which we don't need to mention.
But some of the things I wasn't expecting when walking around the shop floor as well were the sizes of some of the conveyors you make, some of the mist extractions you make.
Well, we don't make those. We supply.
You supply. What you make the conveyors, but you supply the mist extraction, and it's the size of them.
Oh yeah, that's why we need such a big factory.
It's just
they're big, heavy products. I would like to operate out of a smaller factory. If I tell you truthfully, the business rates on this place are phenomenal. And I approach my local authority and say, can we discuss this? Well, it's your choice. You've got a big factory.
But I need a big factory.
But we need a big factory because we make big products. And, that's probably a separate subject for discussion, Tom. But to do things properly, you're either in or you're out. And we're in.
Yeah.
And that's why we've got a big facility. And you've seen the products. We've got some massive products. We've got some small products, all varying sizes. But, to move these varying size products around the company safely, this is what we have to have.
But again, that's you looking after your staff as well, making sure things are safe.
Yeah.
Making sure there's enough room for a fork truck with your laser cut material to get past.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it obviously, like you said, this is probably another discussion for another day, but it does seem to be where just because you're making bigger things, you get penalised for that over if you were making something a lot smaller.
I honestly, I feel that's the way I feel. Yeah, it is. I think some councils, quite frankly, are clueless when it comes to manufacturing. They have no interest. We had a cyber attack 2 years ago. That was a disaster, and I never saw any. I didn't see the police. I didn't see any local council. It was incredible.
You feel like you're on your own?
We were on our own, 100%.
But you got it sorted, which is the main
got it
thing.
sorted, and we've introduced a different architecture of cybersecurity in the business. We have cyber essentials security. We're accredited for that. As ISO 9001, we're accredited for that. ISO 14001. By the year end, we'll be accredited for that. So, whilst it was an awful thing that happened, and we're all vulnerable in some respects because we're all reliant on digital technology and the internet and everything else, it
was a learning curve.
It's a learning curve, and we're better for it.
Yeah.
And it's important that customers or suppliers or whoever it might be, businesses pay attention to that part of their company. But, I need orders to be profitable as a business. Mega important. Your cybersecurity, believe it or not, is equally as important because you can lose the lot in a breath.
Yeah, and obviously it's that confidentiality as well. You've got to keep everything under wraps, so You don't want unwanted people looking at it. But at least
They can shut you down.
Yeah.
They can shut you down, Tom. They can shut you down within seconds.
which is just, it's where I worked before MTD. We had a phishing email that got clicked.
Yeah.
And again, it was the same thing. It locked all the files down unless you paid this ransom. But it's scary because you've got customers waiting for jobs, and you can't get hold of the drawings to make the job, and then
you're locked out.
Yeah,
it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
But
it's life.
It is, and you're back on, and you're running, and like you said, it made you stronger for it. Which is
definitely did. Definitely did.
A good learning curve. So let's talk about some of the other things you do here, which is the control panels, the electrical integrations on your products to save people money. And there's one thing I want to go into, which we spoke before, is the coolant pumps and how you are using a different technology now to not only run them pumps more economically, but also to take some of the stress off them pumps as well.
Yeah, so we have customers operating high pressure coolant pumps. If you have a standard coolant pump and it has a simple function, there's nothing much you can do with that apart from buy the right pump. But certainly with a high pressure pump that has multiple functions of pressure, there are things that can be done. So one of the requirements is I want variable pressure on my through tool coolant. Okay, 10 bar, 20 bar, 30 bar, 40 bar. So that would be driven off a single pump. We knew at the time, eventually we're going to have to say, well, how can we make that pump more efficient? Because if you say 25% of a machine tool's energy consumption is actually from the coolant system. The high pressure coolant system costs a lot of money to run if it's being run continually, which they are nowadays because of the automation and such. So we work very hard with a manufacturer of inverters, a UK manufacturer of inverters. We had other options, but we wanted to keep it in Britain. And we developed a range of inverters with them that go on our systems, which provide the variable functionality on the high pressure coolant pump. And what it does basically, it provides intelligence for the motor. So if you want 70 bar and it's a small orifice in the tool, the motor doesn't need to run as quick.
Well, otherwise you're losing it.
You're losing it. If you're running it at 20 bar, it doesn't need to run as quick because you're not using all that energy to get to 20 bar. So you go 20 bar, 30 bar, it increases the motor speed accordingly. You increase the hole size, it increases it accordingly. Or you reduce it reduces it accordingly. And having all that technology that we provide in the control system, we showed you on the shop floor the data, what kilowatt usage is being applied. Yeah, it's all been developed here. And it's very good. It's beneficial for customers, and it's beneficial from a in your pocket situation. If you've got fluctuation prices of energy, which we seem to have, sometimes they're extremely high. Normally they're just high. If you can make a saving by having new technology where there's no significant additional costs up front, it's a win-win for the customer. They're achieving what they need to achieve from the pump, but it's running more efficiently.
And again,
and we can retrofit it to other pumps.
It always seems to be that part of a machine people forget about.
It is.
But like you said, if that's 25% of your energy is going through there, and that's your cost, you imagine that over 10, 15, 20 machines.
Yeah, running 24/7.
It's the number's going to be astronomical.
The net number is astronomical. We can retrofit our inverters to existing pumps with the old technology.
So again, you will make back what you've spent doing that very quickly, and then after that, you're going to be quids in.
Well, it's the additional workload. If you've got, let's say, you have a coolant temperature control unit. If you have the new technology, you're reducing the workload on the temperature control because there's less energy being expelled or wasted.
Well, where's all that heat going to go? It's got to go somewhere. It's going into your coolant tank.
Got to go somewhere. Exactly.
So if you can keep that heat out of your coolant tank, like you said, then the heat from the coolant tank, you're going to be able to stabilize that a lot easier.
Mitigation works great, and we've done that. We've done it all for you know what, Tom? I've been doing it 3, 4, 5 years now, so we have mastered it.
Yeah.
It works great.
And again, that comes back to what you were saying earlier, where you only do what your master's in. So that should give customers confidence that if you're doing it, it's because you are the master to do that.
Exactly. We are. That's what we do. We focus on what we're good at. That's the best way. We've looked at other industries with conveyors. We've considered, shall we go into logistic warehouses and do that, or big waste plants? That's not what we do. We're sticking to what we're good at.
It comes back to the old saying, doesn't it? Masters, what is it? Masters of all trades.
Jacks of all trades.
Jack of all trade, master of none.
Yeah.
Where you're not. You're masters of your trade.
Yes, we are.
Which means that's where you are.
We've got competitors out there who supply conveyors, who supply high-pressure coolant and equipment, but actually, they don't produce it. They're just supplying it. They're bringing it in from a manufacturer, whichever country it may be from, and they're selling it on. There's no real technical expertise.
If something goes wrong with that,
well,
there's no support for them here, where you've got...
Well, if you're buying something in a box, it's an off-the-shelf product. And maybe it does fit within some customers' requirements, which is fair enough. But I know with conveyors and with high-pressure coolant systems, some customers, or a lot of customers, have specific requirements. And that is not an off-the-shelf product you can import from overseas.
It's got to be bespoke to the customer.
It's a bespoke product.
So what sort of add-ons can people get with their conveyors? Because I know we spoke earlier about you've got oil skimmers, chillers.
Oil skimmers, chillers, wash guns, circulation systems. I mentioned that earlier. It's important, some of these exotic materials that are being machined and better tooling, more accurate tolerances. You produce a different type of swarf. So you get this very fine particulate. It's like a dust. It gets into your tank. And, and over time it'll settle in the tank and it'll cause problems with your coolant. So if you have an agitation system, and I'm not saying you're ever going to get rid of maintenance. You're not. But it's about reducing the maintenance, optimizing that machine's running time. So if you have an agitation system or what we call a stealth tank circulation system, you're suspending any particulate and you're moving it from the semi-clean tank into the next level of filtration, which would be a super clean tank.
Which the thing is, if you're getting rid of, and we always used to call them fines, when you've got fines in your coolant, like you said, when you're doing tolerance work where surface finish is on the drawing, you need your coolant to be as clean as possible.
Oh, you do.
Because if you've got fines coming out through your coolant, that's going to hit your job, and it's going to hurt your face.
It is. So the filtration equipment is critical. Do you know one thing that I'd say is probably the most innovative product we've made for quite a few years is our fluid management system. We haven't actually defined a name for it yet. So we've had the coolant quality measuring system, the CQMS system, but we're going to come up with something a bit more intelligent. But the point is there in the wording. It monitors your coolant. It tops it up when it's low. It mixes the oil water. It manages the oil water concentration. It monitors your pH. If any of this goes out of range, it'll tell you, the customer, look, your pH is out of range. It needs looking at. Important.
Well, we heard that from Wes earlier, and Wes said something I've never heard it before, and I've never even considered it, is when you're doing maintenance on your coolant, if your pH is low or your percentage is low and you fill it up by hand, you don't know exactly how much you're putting in. It is a bit of guesswork.
It is guesswork.
If your coolant's not running at the right percentage, we'll put a bit of strong stuff in and we'll open. It's sort of a guessing game. I think that'll be enough. Yeah. We'll run it for a bit. We'll try it. But again, we'll run it. We'll test it. Nope, need some more. Right, do it again. Run it. Test it again.
Yeah.
If you've got a system that's keeping that at the perfect level, then that just makes your coolant run better.
It's a no-brainer, Tom.
It is.
All you need is a barrel of oil and a water supply. That's it.
And it does it all for you.
And it will do it all for you.
And I do want to get to a point you said earlier, which I really liked, was the systems out there that will monitor 10 machines.
Yeah.
Where yours monitors 1. But the benefits of monitoring 1 over 10
Yeah.
is if something does go wrong, and let's be honest, it's live, things always do go wrong.
Yeah.
That's 1 machine down, not 10 machines down.
Exactly. And, you've got a much larger system, you have a much more expense. So, we've developed it so it's an affordable solution. We know things cost money. We know everybody has to look at, we need to be sensible with cash. Really important. We want to make as much money as we can, but we want to make our solutions affordable. And the systems that we have now that we showed on the shop floor with the CCOMS system, fluid management system, it's an affordable solution for a single machine.
And that's it, because you may not need, if you're, I call it a startup, but if you're a smaller machine shop with a couple of 3-axis lathes, a couple of 3-axis wheels, but then you go out and buy a big 5-axis machine, which is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you will only need that system on that machine. Because if that's the thing that's running all the time.
Do you know what I find interesting? Some of these smaller companies with the smaller machines, they think they don't need this kind of equipment. Oh, I don't need that. Why not?
It's still going to make it more profitable.
It's going to make it more profitable. It doesn't matter how big or how small your machine is. If you're removing quite a large element of manual intervention where that can go wrong, it's a win-win. At the end, a machine tool is an expensive investment. Look after it. You buy an expensive car. When it says it's due for a service, you take it and you get it serviced. What's the difference?
Well, that's it. And thinking about it after what you've just said, when you've got your big companies who probably hire a guy for maintenance, your smaller companies haven't got that.
Yeah.
So if the machinist is now doing maintenance, they're not machining.
Exactly.
So it's going to be as important for them as it is.
I mean, I would think if you buy 2 or 3 machines or 1 machine, whatever it is, you buy that machine because you want to. If you're a startup company, you want to start your business and you need to grow, but you've got to start small.
Yeah.
Then you develop and you get another machine. But the more effective controls you have on your first machine, surely that makes you make more money, more profitable, more efficient.
Probably helps you grow faster as
more
well.
efficient. It encourages growth quicker. So then you think, this has worked really well. We've got the right support from all our partners, whether it's a machine supplier, the coolant supplier, the conveyor supplier. We can buy another machine. And you might be able to buy another machine a year quicker than you could buy before.
Yeah, it makes sense when you say it. It makes sense.
Yeah, and if you look at the percentage, you cost from a percentage point of view of the ancillary products that we provide. Of course, there's a cost to it, but on the grand scheme of things, it's not a great cost.
When you look at your new machine.
When you look at a new machine,
and it is a way of thinking where I think people don't. There's not many people thinking of it like that.
No. And
they're just seeing it as another expense.
But Tom, we've got a duty as a company to say, well, let's get out there. Let's tell people what we've got available. This is education. Education. This is what we've got available. We think it can help you. This is how we think it can help you. Great. We've done a good job. We've got a sale. The best thing is when we've got the sale, we install the equipment and the customer goes, actually, yeah, that's good. I'll buy another one for that machine. That's where we need to be getting to with these new products, because we know there's a really good marketplace for this product.
And talking of your products, before they, when they've been built and fully assembled, you don't just send them out.
No.
They all get tested first.
All tested and all signed off.
And the customer can even see that record of.
If they want to.
So you've got full traceability over every conveyor that leaves this building. Yeah.
We take a picture of everything that leaves. We've had conveyors go to Europe missing a wheel, but it left with a wheel. Somebody's making supermarket trolleys somewhere.
Brilliant. There's a delivery driver with a.
I'm not. Pointing at anybody in particular, but we've had numerous occasions where wheels have gone missing, and they've been supplied because they're on the picture.
That's mad. Why wheels though? Why a wheel?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they were trying to deliver it and the wheel broke. I know, I'll just borrow this one.
Yeah, you just don't know, do you?
That's just...
Yeah, so we try and provide a completely robust package when people buy from us. Whether it's design, it's got to be designed right, produced right, dispatched correctly, and then with full traceability.
Yeah. So, talk about aftercare. So once a customer has received their conveyor, I'm guessing you're about for any phone call, any question they have.
Yeah. So and we do get it quite frequently. Would I say we have a dedicated technical support team? No. But what we do have is an engineering team. And our engineering team is communicating with our customers. We have our service team. They're communicating with our customers. So there's many avenues, depending on what the question is, that can be answered by different people.
You don't need a specific person because you've got all the skills out there.
We have the team. So it might be we've got an issue with electrics. Well, there's no point passing it on to a mechanical design engineer. We'll pass it on to our electrical department.
Yeah.
And the same applies where they have a mechanical issue. We'll speak to the designers.
You've got the right person in the right team for the right question.
We've got the right people.
Instead of having one person who's trying to answer everything and will know enough, but will not know all the little nitty-gritty bits.
But do you know one important thing as well is we are still a family-owned business, 100%. And I've got a relationship, my brother Mark Crowther's got a relationship with all our customers, all our suppliers. At the end of the day, if nobody's getting the answer they want, ring us up.
Yeah.
We're happy to help, always.
And the thing is, if a customer's happy, then you're happy.
If they're happy, if my employees are happy, I'm happy. If my customers are happy, I'm happy.
And that's not just in the UK. That's not just here in Yorkshire. That's wherever
it might be. We've got an office in Central Europe in Prague, and we have a team of 4 people over there. Good solid team, and they're supporting the Cromar products in that part of the world, doing a great job. We want to try and replicate that in other countries over time.
So you never know. 10 years' time, you'll be a global domination.
I'd like to think so.
Well, Ben, thank you for your time today.
Pleasure.
It's been a great insight into seeing how a conveyor goes from raw material to full turnkey product.
Yeah,
so thank you for the time, and thank you for joining me on the MTD podcast.
Our pleasure. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you want to find out more about what's happening in the world of manufacturing and engineering, visit mtdcnc.com.